Going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday afternoon. Hope everyone's had a good week. Happy boot camp. There's lots of people going hard at it right now, and some of the people that went hard at it last week are our rookie and entrepreneur of the week. So I'm looking forward to talking to Callum. I think we'll have Emma on today. Emma, if you're not with us today, you and I can grab another time to get through it. But looking forward to hearing both sides of it. And Callum, I see you just with the request there. That's awesome. For me, I'd love to talk a little bit about things that went well, but also some of the challenges. I think that's one of the things right now that a lot of people are seeing some of the really big numbers that are out there and thinking that people are just going through it with a cakewalk. And you might be sitting there, fighting and grinding a little bit, and you're not alone in doing that. So see if we can talk a little bit on both sides of the coin here today. But we got Callum. Callum, I'm going to bring you on. Or if we got to try it a couple of times here to get you in. But looking forward to hearing how your week was. What's going on, Callum? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. We're connected, man. You crushed it last week. Congrats on an awesome week.
Thank you so much. I mean, I can really attribute it to having a good team and my manager is Peter, really just kind of focusing on coaching me and getting me through, and that's what really helped.
Cool. Well, why don't you tell everybody just a little bit about some of those things that you were doing? So, you said team. That's again, we're probably like 5 weeks in a row where that's the theme, right? People are like, my team was awesome last week. A great team. I got my people together, and then putting in the time. But tell us a little bit about your week. What were some of the things that you did with your team? You not only did you do a ton of estimates last week, you booked a lot of work. Like, what were you doing to close some of those jobs? Tell us a little bit about some of the highlights.
So last week, I really put an emphasis on coaching my marketers,
Okay.
not just training them. I had trained them and they were doing well, but I really transitioned into more of a coaching mentality. That
Okay.
way, I could really show them what they needed to be doing at the doors, how to properly objection handle, and that really helped with getting estimates in. Um, my team did very well. I'm very proud of them. Another thing I do with them is I treat all my guys like I played hockey growing up. I treat them everyone like they're on my team and not like I'm the captain. I'm out there doing everything with them. I'm showing them what to improve on and how to do it, and doing proper goal setting. Really, I think brought my guys up and did well, which attributed to last week for sure.
So when you say objection handling, I think it's, for those that are out there, what are some of the, objections that you're hearing or that you've heard, and how are you handling them? What are your tips, your tricks, your coaching on some of those things?
So the biggest one we get is I got to talk to my wife or husband or whatever
Hmm.
that is, um, as well as we've already got someone else doing it. the the best way I've found to reply to those situations is, hey, why don't we get you guys a quote so you can talk about it? It'll make the conversation easier, or you guys can compare to that other company you're using. Um, and another thing that really worked well for me last week is really put an emphasis on yourself and your guys that this is a professional job. We are just college students or university students, but we're coming there. We know exactly what we're doing. We're going to do it perfectly. And if we don't, we're going to be back the next day to make sure it's done. So really putting that emphasis that yes, we're a bunch of kids, and that's the core of College Pro, but we are a professional group, and we're going to get your windows and screens and eaves all cleaned properly.
I think that's such a cool piece of it, right? When you think about it, it's like, um, there's a often this like mentality or challenge, I guess, around the idea of, um, that a lot of your homeowners are kind of like your parents' age, right? So you're almost like used to like talking to your parents and your parents' friends as like the kid, whereas like now you're actually, they're your customers, right?
Yeah,
It's a completely different relationship, and being able to hold yourself in the same regard, let's say, as to what you're going to go out and do. I think the mentality, because what that does is it brings a bunch of confidence, and when you have a bunch of confidence with that, people feel that you're competent, which is a big part of the trust triangle. We talk about that all the
yep.
time. But like, someone trusts you, and people buy from you because they like and trust you. So being able to have that confidence and that, you're going to do a great job, that this is a service that they absolutely need, that you're going to do a professional top end window cleaning, not just production job, but service experience for them. And that all starts from the beginning and cold calling. And that's awesome. I mean, that's really cool. So for you, like how many guys do you have out with you last week? What was the
So
numbers look like?
last week I had one of my guys was sick, and I brought on my techs, so I was doing a lot of training with them. So I had two guys out for 4 of the days for a couple hours each day. I believe it was between 3 or 4 hours.
Hmm.
I'd have those two guys out, and then I'd be training the other guys together with two of them going through training.
Gotcha.
So it was
Gotcha.
a lot of jumping back and forth to estimates for sure.
I bet. Well, I mean, that's when you got it lined up properly. If you're like just trying to catch up to your marketers, like the it doesn't say you booked a lot of work, so I doubt this is how you became. But you almost become like you're throwing prices at people trying to get to the next one. You don't want to be there, right? Because then you're wasting a whole bunch of leads.
Yeah,
But if you're trying to like surgically and efficiently get through pricing out houses and pitching customers, pitching jobs to customers and talking to customers and sharing your story, and you're able to do all that stuff, but like in a super efficient way because you got to catch up to your marketers, man. That means sounds like you're doing something right.
yeah, exactly. And I think the biggest thing for clients while at the door is the way that you phrase how you want to book them. I always give them the date and the time, and then I ask them, can I book you in? And I repeat the date and the time. It really gets people thinking about do they want the service?
Yeah.
Um, and then if someone hesitates, you say, it is just a tentative booking. It is no obligation. We can always reschedule or move the appointment from there. So me and my team know where we're going to be on what days. Um, and that has been huge. I've had so many people that were hesitant, and then they were like, okay, yeah, for sure, and followed up, and we got a bunch of bookings.
Very cool. Well, I think again, like that, not what you're describing as I listen to it is the idea of, again, it's that like holding yourself in a higher regard versus like someone's like, I don't know, okay, cool, I'll call you back. You know what I mean? Like the passive side, being super aggressive is not again, that's not the right way you want to go. But it sounds like you're being more kind of in like that assertive uh group, like character, as you go
Yeah,
through different things, which is huge. It's also where people that comes across as confident. You're also, I think of the trust triangle, common sense of purpose, like you're on the same side. Character, like, is this a good person, right? Like all those things are what line up to getting a lot of customers to be able to buy from you, because those are the core reasons people do
yeah.
purchase. So
Yeah, and it's important to phrase it in a way that they're making a decision. You're
hmm.
not making a decision for them, because ultimately everyone wants to make their own decisions, and when they're allowed to do that, they feel much more confident in what they're deciding on. And
Yeah.
that's been huge.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I mean, what about the flip side? I mean, you had an awesome week last week, but I mean, I bet it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows last week. So, what were some of the challenges you had along the way last week, and what are some of the challenges maybe you're dealing with this week overall?
So last week I had, like I said, one of my marketers was sick. He got food poisoning. It was unfortunate.
Hmm.
And we had some bad weather. Really, I think the most important thing to do, and this is why I goal set with all my guys, is when you're struggling, it's important to remember your goal and what you're trying to achieve, and really breaking that down in a sense that you can attain it. So usually I go by hourly, breaking it down,
Hmm.
and that makes it much more attainable. So when you do face hardships, say your second hour you don't book as much as you want, you're like, okay, this third hour we're going to go extra hard, and that's how you kind of you hit all sides of it. Sometimes you're going to do really well, sometimes you're going to do really bad, and then sometimes it's going to be okay.
Man, that sounds like what I call the law of thirds, right? It's a third, a third, a third. Sometimes,
Yeah,
third of the time, it's not going to go the way you thought it was. A third of the time, it goes okay, like just normal. And then a third of the time, it goes better than expected. So it all balances itself out. But
yeah,
sometimes when you're in that like third that's not going so well, if you throw in the towel, it's tough, right? And I think it's when you
yeah,
think about that, you're like, you sounds like you fought weather last week. You fought people problems. You had staff that wasn't showing up. I think it's a big piece
yep,
when you think about just everybody understanding that you weren't just you weren't skipping and frolicking necessarily down the street every day. You had to figure some stuff out along the way, and
Yep.
that's okay. It's a part of doing it. But
Yep.
very cool, man. Very cool. Well, great to hear your story. Congrats
Thank
on your
you.
week last week.
Thank
Uh,
you.
what boot camp team are you right now?
Oily beef
Well, you guys
going
some work to
strong.
do. You're going
Yeah.
strong, but you got a bit of work to do. You guys are
This
getting
week, this week's been a bit slow. Monday, I actually had one of my guys call in sick, one of my techs. So
yep.
the first production job it took a little long, and there was a lot of stress in that. Kind of figured that out with Peter. He came back yesterday, and he's working well. I think he was just sick. It was unfortunate. Really just powered through, focusing on the back end of this week being heavy, and I know everyone else in the group is really, really working towards making the oily beef come out strong again.
you're gonna I love it. You're gonna need to, and yeah, man, it's awesome to see it, and yeah, I don't know. Congrats on again a great week last week. I love hearing they're like, yeah, my guy was sick, and then I got my butt kicked by production, and then I was over here. Like, that's just
Yep,
a balanced way that it gets there. So congrats on pushing through it. Congrats
yep,
on being disciplined to that goal, and the work you're putting in, and it's paying off, man. Great job.
yeah. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate this, and uh, yeah, have a great rest of your day.
You got it, Callum. We'll talk soon, man. Take care.
Have a good one. Bye.
See ya. All right. So I don't think we have Emma with us. Emma, throw something out there if you are. I don't think we have you. We'll you and I can grab another time. But yeah, it's a bit of balanced approach there. As I said, no, that's not all pretty, but it's kind of business is like a reaction sport. It's how you react to it, right? It's we had Rich Davini there on I guess Monday with us, and he talked about everyone's got a great game plan until you get punched in the face, right? I think he said until the enemy engages, and I think yeah, there's a lot of people out there that are probably listening that are challenged right now and grinding a bit, and I'm one of them. I'm one of them right now, but I guess I've had enough repetitions through it that I know what comes out on the other side of it. So know that people are putting up big numbers are grinding too. If you're grinding, it's for a good reason, and it means that you're putting in progress, putting in effort to get progress. So I hope everybody, again, is doing really well. I don't think we've got you with us. If we do, I'll give you a second here to throw something in. Wes, I can see you there, man. Great to see you. And yeah, I hope everybody again is just doing all you can do is do your best. And that I know it sometimes gets overused, but in saying that, you got to recalibrate and push hard. Doing your best is not necessarily overall totality. You're trying to push your way through and figure your way out, and you'll get there. You'll get there. So, anyways, we'll leave it at that. Emma, I'll shoot you a message. We'll find a time to jump on. Great job, Callum. Congrats on your rookie of the week, and I'll talk to everybody soon.